Welcome to ADHD Power Tools, where we give you the tools to unlock the power within. Hello, Brooke. Today I want to talk to you about boundaries and burnout. I want to ask you, how are they linked, and what are some tools for us to overcome burnout?
The killer bees.
Yes, boundaries and burnout, killer bees.
So you hear about burnout with ADHDers very often as fatigue, exhaustion, burnout. They're all integrated, right? When you stop noticing what your body needs and you start accepting more tasks, more stress, then you experience more fatigue and more burnout, right? So I know that's a very general linkage, but if you start creating boundaries for yourself and for your energy and for your self-care and non-negotiables, like I must exercise, I must not allow the people around me to have a negative effect on me, or I cannot accept another task while I'm trying to complete this other task. I can't say yes to everything. I have to start saying no. Those kind of things are setting boundaries for yourself, setting boundaries externally, and it leads to less and less burnout. Very often clients come to me and they say, I'm not sleeping, I'm working really late, I really like my job, but I'm starting to get anxious and fatigued. So that then turns into burnout, which then very often can lead you to a sabbatical every 7 years or a few years, because you just have these things creep into your life, and you're not setting those boundaries. You're not sleeping, you're not practicing self-care, you're taking on too many tasks, and it's just overload. And
We've talked about rejection sensitive dysphoria. We have an episode on RSD. Do you think RSD plays a role in boundaries and burnout, and how does it?
Absolutely. So it's really hard for ADHDers to cope with emotional regulation, rejection sensitivity, low self-worth, impulse control, anxiety, or sensory issues. So with the rejection sensitive dysphoria, when things are being said to you and you're taking it a certain way, then you start feeling anxious. You can become obsessed with your negative thought process, and that can lead to emotional stress, which then can make you exhausted, fatigued, give you anxiety, eventually lead to depression. And then you get to that point where you just don't want to leave your house. You don't want to engage in fun things. You shut down. You want to sleep.
100%. And that ADHD exhaustion, that the overwhelming. For those of you who don't know what RSD is, rejection sensitive dysphoria, it's when you could say you're trying to people please, or try to live up to other people. Seek approval from other people, and seeking other people's approval is never the way to go. It's going to lead to emotional stress and overwhelming, and in the long term it will lead to burnout. So 100%.
Yeah, when you're constantly doing for other people, you're saying no to yourself. You're saying yes to them, and you're constantly seeking their approval. It's stressful, and exactly, it leads to
100%.
burnout, and you can't become the person you want or you are and reach your potential being a constant people pleaser, perfectionist. And with the rejection sensitive dysphoria, when something is said to you, you can take it in a way that is not based off of facts. It's based off of the story that is happening. So you create these stories in your mind, and then you create thoughts, and then you create reactions and actions, and It's not real.
And what are some tools we can use to help set these boundaries?
Yeah. And avoid the burnout. So
Yeah, exactly.
start really paying attention to your body instead of plowing through and going on autopilot, which many of us ADHDers get into that negative habit. Have your routine where you practice mindfulness. I don't care what time of day it is. Mel Robbins takes a bath at 2:30 p.m. because it's her time to just think. You know, a lot of people practice morning routines where they practice their mindfulness then, and you know, just practice mindfulness at some point, whether it be breathing, walking, meditating.
Exactly.
Another thing is exercising to release that stress from your body. Do that, at least that 10 to 15 minute of aerobic exercise. Nutrition, that's another thing that ADHDers can so often struggle with. You know, we don't eat because we are working intensely and thinking that we can't skip a beat, or else we're not going to be able to do this one thing right, or we won't get it done. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't stop and pause and eat and fill your body with the nutrition that it needs, then you won't be able to focus as well. And you will feel that exhaustion and that stress and that burnout, and you won't be able to handle things the way you could when you feed your body and ultimately your brain.
100%. And the right there, those ways to achieve health, both body, mentally, and spiritually, you know, very, very key.
Absolutely. Sleep hygiene, we spoke about that before, making sure that your body is getting the sleep it needs and it's reliable sleep. When you are on burnout, sometimes you are so exhausted that you do fall asleep, but it's not reliable sleep. And you're tossing and you're turning, or you're waking up too early. So just taking a 360 of your health, your self-care, and checking in with how your body feels. Is it starting to feel achy? Are you starting to experience some like irritable bowel syndrome? Are you getting headaches? Are you feeling annoyed about situations that otherwise you typically wouldn't? Are you not engaging in activities that you typically would that make you feel good because you feel guilty? So
100%. And you brought up sleep, and I want to bring up, we're excited for our next episode. We'll talk a little more detail on sleep. Is a revenge bedtime procrastination. Is that it? Did I get it right?
Yep. So revenge bedtime procrastination. We can't give away too much.
No. Right? Yes. It's coming soon. To a
theater near you.
Yes.